Hello and welcome into the Klopp Show featuring host Jackson Zuber. The Klopp Show is Combat Sports Entertainment's premier boxing podcast. And as always, we have the boxing expert of Combat Sports Entertainment, Harrison Klopp. Harrison, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for that lovely intro.
You know, I always just get inspired to have a great intro when I'm sitting next to you, that's for sure.
And talking some great boxing. I hope that gets you excited.
Oh, it does get me very excited. And I have a very exciting question for you, actually. I got to know, what are your top 5 most anticipated fights of the upcoming year?
So my top 5 anticipated fights, I'm going to make my list here based on fights that I know are going to happen, not fights that could happen.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. I mean, if there's going to be a Fury Wilder rematch, I mean, that could be, number 2 or number 3. But
really,
there's no timeline on that right now, so it's not in my top 5.
Okay. I mean, without further ado, let me hear your number 5. What are we looking at?
Number 5 is Teofimo Lopez.
Really?
Who is probably the best prospect in boxing right now. For the lightweight division, probably the best prospect overall, fighting TBD. There's no opponent scheduled, but regardless, I think he's going to be better than anyone Teofimo Lopez is going to fight, or has fought so far, excuse me. So I just want to see this kid test a little bit more. He hasn't fought anyone really that good, but when he has fought, he's looked spectacular. So I want to see if he, has the stuff to maybe even beat a Lomachenko, because I think Lomachenko, obviously the number 1 pound-for-pound guy in the world right now, but his style could, upset Lomachenko because he's such a powerful puncher. And Lomachenko, you've seen, when he's fought guys like that, has struggled. So that's going to be my number 5, just so I can see a little bit more of Teofimo Lopez, because he's still so young. He's like 21 years old.
I like that, going with somebody you don't even know who's going to.
I don't even know who's going to fight,
but that guy's. It's just so he's young, he's exciting, and you just want to see it. Basically,
I just want to see him. Yeah.
All right, I like it. But now, I mean, this one's going to be just a notch above that, I'm sure. And
just a notch. Just
a notch. Number 4. What do we got?
Jarrell Big Baby Miller, who I know you're familiar with, versus Anthony Joshua at Madison Square Garden. This fight should not even be in my top 5 if I'm just rating it like off of what I'm going to see. Because I'm going to see a blowout. I'm going to see a fight that, one guy, Joshua, is going to just kill him. But am I? Am I going to see that? It's just like I haven't seen this confidence from a guy that should be blown out in forever, it seems like. I mean, Jarrell Big Baby Miller said he's going to take Anthony Joshua's mom out for a Parmesan chicken dinner. Yeah. He's going to take his dad out and play some golf after he beats his son. I'm intrigued, honestly. And it's like it's in Madison Square Garden. Big Baby Miller's from New York, native New Yorker. So I don't know if he's going to get the home crowd, really pushing him. Could we see an upset? My mind tells me no. My heart tells me maybe.
I would love to see that. A lot of our friends would love to see that. I mean, we're big Baby fans. I mean, if anything, the nickname, but also just, the swagger he has, the confidence. I mean, honestly, that goes a long way in a boxer, I feel like, as being a fan of one. Maybe it doesn't exactly help you that much in the ring to just have a great nickname, but some confidence
he does have a great nickname.
Some confidence can go a long way.
Like, I'm honestly intrigued. Like, my head, again, it's telling me he's going to get knocked out in the first round by Joshua, but my heart, it's like, I got to watch it.
I mean, this could be, I think you might be are we on upset watch?
I don't know about that. But I'm excited to watch it. So that's why it's number 4.
I mean, I don't know how that's not our number 1 one. I'm excited to see what's coming up next. But what's number 3?
Number 3, if we're talking about pound for pound fighters, excuse me, the 2 best that are going to be squaring off in about, it's going to be this number 3 fight for me. Errol Spence versus Mikey Garcia on March 16th in Arlington, Texas, Errol Spence's hometown.
Oh, another hometown fight.
Hometown. But why this fight isn't higher for me? It's at 3 because it's 2 blue chip fighters that are probably the best 2 fighters that are going to be fighting against one another. But why I think it's not higher for me is that I think I know what's going to happen. I think Errol Spence is a little bit bigger, and he's a little bit stronger, and he has a little bit more of an unorthodox style in his ability to go southpaw. And I think that's going to give Mikey Garcia, who's never really seen a guy this big, a lot of problems. I mean, let me remind you, Mikey Garcia moved up from lightweight. He's the WBC lightweight title holder.
And now he's going against
He's
someone.
moving from 135 pounds to 147 pounds, and you're fighting a huge 147 pounder. It's like, kudos to Mikey Garcia for doing this. It shows a lot of heart, but I think he's just a little bit too small to really fight Errol Spence, who's a guy I think could have success at middleweight.
I mean, are you saying you don't believe in the idea of it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog? I mean,
I've actually heard people say that when they talk about this fight, but I just think you're literally fighting the best welterweight in the world. It would be one thing if he was fighting a Keith Thurman, who is, the third or fourth best welterweight. You're fighting
this is the top.
top welterweight, who is, the fifth, sixth best guy pound for pound in the world, who just happens to be southpaw, who is going to throw a lot of just really weird angles towards Mikey Garcia. I don't think this bodes well for Garcia, and that's why I'm going to take Errol Spence winning this fight. But it's still going to be a spectacular fight between two guys that are elite fighters.
Yeah, I mean, it should be interesting to see how he maybe tries to.
I don't know how you try against Errol Spence. He's so good.
But let's just jump straight into the next one. We got number 2. I'm very excited to hear this because I mean this one you must think is very exciting, but it's
this one I've actually got an upset in this pick. Yes.
Ooh, okay.
This one is not number 1 because I don't think Canelo Alvarez is the most interesting fighter, but it's Canelo Alvarez versus Daniel Jacobs, and I think Daniel Jacobs actually will give Canelo Alvarez a lot of trouble because Daniel Jacobs honestly fights like a kind of like a Golovkin, where he's gonna go Mexican style. He's gonna chase you in the ring, and you saw that in the first Canelo Triple G fight, where Golovkin went after Canelo and just gave him a ton of trouble. And I think everybody that watched that fight knew Triple G won. But
I feel like I should say Harrison Klopp, huge Triple G fan.
I'm a huge Triple G guy. But most people know that Adelaide Bird scorecard in the first fight was terrible. Triple G won that fight. You can be Stevie Wonder and see that. But it's Daniel Jacobs fights like a younger Triple G. He's going to chase you, and I think if anyone's going to give Canelo trouble, it's basically a younger Triple G in Daniel Jacobs.
Yeah, I mean,
and Daniel Jacobs, let me remind you, fought Triple G when he was not really quite in his prime, but gave him a really good fight, and he only lost that fight by a few rounds.
Ooh.
So Daniel Jacobs has improved, and I honestly think he could win, and I think he will win.
I mean, Harrison, you're getting me excited for this match. I love seeing guys that just go straight at them. They're not
because they're not boring fighters.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's my favorite kind of boxing, personally. The technical stuff is fun, but when they're just going straight at them,
and that's going to be a rowdy fight over Cinco de Mayo weekend. Canelo Alvarez, obviously from Mexico, but I don't think many people think Daniel Jacobs has a chance. But here I am. Yeah. I'm supporting Jacobs. I think he's going to win the fight.
I gotta trust you on this one. I mean, you're the expert. I'm listening to you.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate your confidence in my picks.
You've raised my excitement for this the number 2 fight so much. I just want to see how you're going to outdo that one with your number 1. What do you got?
Well, okay, this fight, if you asked 150 million boxing fans, I don't think there's that many boxing fans to start with, about what's their most exciting fight for 2019, I guarantee you I'd probably be the only one to say this one.
Really?
But May 18th in Chicago, Alexander Usyk makes his heavyweight debut in Chicago versus Alexander Povetkin. Povetkin, kind of the 4th best heavyweight. A lot of people sleep on him because, the Americans obviously are not going to, really pay high pay-per-view prices for a Russian fighter.
No, yeah.
But Alexander Usyk, he's undisputed in cruiserweight, which is under 200. And do you know what undisputed means? It means you have all 4 belts.
I do know that.
The last guy that went to a heavyweight match that was, called an undisputed champion? Lennox Lewis in 2000.
Wow.
Granted, Lennox Lewis was actually the heavyweight undisputed champion of the world. Alexander Usyk is the cruiserweight undisputed champion, but that just tells you how talented Usyk is.
Yeah.
If he can punch with power, because I know he has the skills, I know he can move, I know he has the speed to fight, a Joshua or a Fury Wilder, these top 3 guys at the heavyweight division. Could he punch really hard? He could be the best fighter at the division. I have no doubt in my mind. So it's going to be a good test against a really good Russian fighter.
Yeah, you're getting me even more excited again. I like it. He's going up in weight. He's putting on the pounds and he's
putting on the pounds. He's 6'3" though, so it's going to be easy to put on those pounds.
Okay.
It's not like he's 5'10". He's 6'3".
I think I like this. I don't know if it's an underdog story when you're the cruiserweight, undisputed champ, but he's still going up in weight after a guy.
Well, you're always going to be the underdog when you're moving up weight, classes against a really okay. Actually, I'll take that back. I think Usyk will be favored against Povetkin. Povetkin, 4th best fighter in the world. He's not a tier 1 guy, not a blue chip guy, but still a really good fighter. This will be as close as a heavyweight match could get.
I like it, Harrison. I'd like to thank you. You listed the fights. Thanks for having me on your show.
No, you hosted. You asked me the questions. There's no show without you.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Make sure you stay tuned for all the content on Combat Sports Entertainment's website, and listen in for maybe another episode of the Klopp Show featuring host Jackson Zuber.